Okay guys, we have a Christmas or a winter special for you today. We're going to talk about short game, talk about how to control your lofts, talk about how to control this golf club, all whilst just using your wrists in the golf swing. So we're going to talk about chipping, and of course we're going to jump into these lovely new bunkers here at Warley Park Golf Club. Now, one of the big things for me is when we are talking about short game, the last thing we want to do is see lots and lots of cupping in the wrist, as you can see on screen now, because if we do have excessive cupping, that's going to open the club face and add dynamic loft. Now, the opposed version to that is if we see too much bowing in the golf swing, you can see that shuts the face, aims it left, and it also means we're not going to get the desired strike that we want. It's a really, really simple method to be able to do this. And all I want to try and do is set up to this golf ball, and then from here, try and keep my wrist fairly neutral. Chris, where am I there?
So right there, you can see that we are +6 extenders, so that's pretty much where you would be at setup. So
from there, if I keep that nice and neutral, I'm having a nice controlled motion through the golf ball. And what I'm trying to do here is maintain the dynamic loft, also whilst incorporating the bounce on this golf club. You see this golf club has 12 degrees of bounce on there, so I'm trying to utilize that as much as possible. If I don't do that properly and I start to, like I said earlier, maybe over cup this shot, you can see here that opens the face up, and the strike I'm going to get from that generally is that one. So a little bit high, a little bit to the right, and as you can see, it's not the desired shot that we want. And if I were to do the opposite and just try and bow that, it's a very unnatural thing to do this. You're not going to see many people who do kind of cup this shot straight away. So again, if I try and get a nice neutral position, this is where hack motion can be really, really good, because it kind of trains you to get into that feel versus real. So if I try and get to about neutral again, where am I there, Chris?
So again, that's at +6, so nice and consistent.
So to me, that neutral's pretty much +6, isn't it? So again, if I just kind of work my body around, you can see we're playing nice, consistent golf shots, and that one's gone to a couple of feet. So nice and neutral. We're not trying to overthink this. We're not trying to overwork it. If you can do this around the greens, I guarantee you'll save your shots, because it can work all the way back to 50 and 60 yards when it comes to your pitching. Let's jump in the bunker. Let's see exactly what we want to do using the wrist in the bunker, because it's the exact opposite.
Oh, shadow. Fucking shadow.
Okay, now we have to go that way. I can't see though. Okay, so now we're in this lovely brand new riveted face bunker. How good does this look, by the way? It looks
Very
absolutely
good.
Fantastic. Things change a little bit. So we've got 3 different lies here in the sand, and essentially what we're going to try and do here is add dynamic loft to this shot. So we're going to set up to the golf ball fairly neutral. So again, what's that, Chris?
So again, a little bit more there, so +16 with that left wrist now.
Now, as I take the club back, I'm going to try and add dynamic loft. So that's probably going up to a 30 odd, is it?
37.
37. So from here, usually you would try and neutralize on the way down, but we're not going to do that. We're going to keep that excessive cupping that we've got, and we're going to try and hold that through the shot. So you can see that comes out nicely. Once again, we've got the strike out the bunker, we've flown it where we want it, and again, that's probably come back to be, well, nice and consistent out of the bunker like we want to do.
All in the green there, James, as you'd expect.
If we treated this just like the chip shot we were playing, so I go, is that about 6 again?
Let's have a quick look. We are there at +1.
+1, so that's as neutral as it comes. If I try and get this out now, you can see that we don't have the loft or necessarily the speed there to be able to get it out. So that's where you're going to struggle, not making sure you have enough dynamic loft and speed through the bunker shot. Bunker shots for me are something which I really, really enjoy. Generally, I do okay with them and manage to play good ones, or because I know what to do with my wrists. Now here we have a plugged lie, and this is something which people just don't practice, and you should do, because you should have a few plugged lie bunker shots throughout the year. Generally, you're not always going to get good lies. So essentially here, what you want to try and do is actually feel like you bow your wrists a little bit. So yes, that's going to dynamically reduce the loft on the club, but it is going to introduce that leading edge. So it's going to cut through the sand. It's always difficult to get these out, but you can see there, it's just a nice little chunky one that runs out there. A lot of people will think that's just pot luck, but essentially, if you can practice that shot, if you know what to do with your wrist by using hack motion, it can really help you get that ball close to the hole, and of course help you get good at golf.